This is the morning of the 27th of July, 2024. Came across this 13-minute and 31-second clip up on BoobTube, put up by Fugitive Crime. It was published 2 days ago, and when I got it, it had 1,989,879 views. Title: FBI's terrifying discovery on Trump's shooter changes everything. Let's have a listen.
Donald Trump just barely escaped what would have been the most historic assassination since JFK. So far, the FBI has been able to discover the identity of the shooter, a man named Thomas Matthew Crooks, who was inches away from ending the life of the former president. Everything about this was terrifying, but despite all that, Trump emerged with his fist raised high. The real question is, who exactly is this guy, and why would he want Trump dead? Who is Thomas Matthew Crooks? The FBI has identified Thomas Matthew Crooks, a 20-year-old from Pennsylvania, as the suspect in the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump during a campaign rally in Butler County. The 20-year-old from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, aimed his gun and fired shots toward the stage where former President Donald Trump was speaking at a campaign rally in Butler County. The chaos that followed was instantaneous. Secret Service agents reacted in seconds, shooting Crooks before he could cause any more harm. However, one bullet grazed Trump's ear, and unfortunately, an innocent rally attendee lay dead. Trump's social media lit up with his dramatic recount of the event and condolences for the fallen supporter. People nearby tried to warn the security officials of a man lying on a roof with a gun, aiming at the rally, but it was too late. After the exchange of gunfire, they later found an AR-15 near his body. This man, Crooks, had a strange history. Back in high school at Bethel Park, he tried to join the rifle team. Frederick Mack, who is now the captain, remembered Crooks. He wasn't just a bad shot, he was dangerously bad. So bad, in fact, that the team asked him not to come back after the first day. He once missed a nearby target by nearly 20 feet. Other team members from that time said there was always something unsettling about him. Crooks was a quiet kid and a loner. His classmates described him as socially reserved. He never talked about politics or Trump, but he was bullied a lot. The bullying left a mark on him, making him even more withdrawn. On Sunday, hours after the rally incident, photos of Crooks appeared. There he was in the yearbook, wearing glasses, braces, and an American flag t-shirt. His quiet demeanor hid dark thoughts that no one suspected. After high school, Crooks worked at a nursing home as a dietary aide at Bethel Park Skilled Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. He helped feed and care for elderly and sick people. His employer said he had a clean record and did his job without any issues. No one there would have guessed what he was capable of. That Sunday morning was chaotic. Crooks had aimed his rifle at the presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump and ended up killing a member of the rally crowd instead. The news spread quickly, leaving everyone who knew him in shock. How could this quiet, bullied boy turn into someone who would do something so terrible? The nation is struggling to comprehend the attack, the first of its kind since the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan in 1981. The FBI quickly identified Crooks, but the question on everyone's mind was, why? Crooks grew up about an hour away from the scene of the attack. He graduated from high school in 2022, even receiving a $500 Star Award from the National Math and Science Initiative. Videos from his graduation showed a seemingly ordinary young man, donning a black gown and glasses, accepting his diploma from a school official. He was registered as a Republican, ready to vote in his first presidential race. Yet, his political leanings seemed murky. At 17, he had donated $15 to Act Blue, a left-leaning political action committee earmarked for the Progressive Turnout Project. As investigations delved deeper, the motive behind Crooks's actions remained elusive. Was it political, or was it a desperate bid for fame? The latter wouldn't be unexpected because history has seen this before. Take John Hinckley Jr., for example. His twisted desire to impress actress Jodie Foster led him to try to assassinate Ronald Reagan. Hinckley's obsession with the film Taxi Driver and its star, Foster, drove him to adopt the persona of the film's disturbed protagonist, Travis Bickle. Trying and failing to catch her attention, he fantasized about hijacking a plane or killing himself in front of her, but his ultimate plan was to make history by killing the president, thinking it would make Foster see him as an equal. Imagine getting killed by a guy trying to impress a girl who barely knew him. Hinckley trailed
There's another ad. I'll get rid of it.
Jimmy Carter during the 1980 presidential campaign, getting alarmingly close at a rally in Dayton, Ohio. His behavior caught the eye of airport police in Nashville, where he was arrested trying to board a flight with handcuffs and 3 unloaded guns. Despite this, he was released the same day with only a fine. If only they had known what was coming next. He soon targeted newly elected President Ronald Reagan. He bought more guns and bided his time until he saw his chance on March 30th, 1981. He fired 6 shots at Reagan outside the Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C., injuring the president and 3 others. The world watched in horror as history nearly repeated itself. As with Hinckley, Crooks's motives might forever remain a mystery. The internet buzzed with theories, each one wilder than the last. Some claimed he was a pawn in a larger political game, while others believed he was a lone wolf, seeking notoriety. Trump, ever the showman, used the incident to rally support, thanking his followers for their prayers and hailing divine intervention for sparing his life. The rally attack has become a media frenzy, with the investigators attempting to scrutinize every detail of Crooks's life. How did he even get there? Crooks was lying flat on his stomach on a rooftop, rifle in hand, and his eyes focused on his target. The atmosphere at the rally was electric, with Donald Trump just starting his speech. Suddenly, shots rang out. Trump grabbed his right ear with his right hand, then glanced at his hand, seeing blood before dropping to his knees behind the podium. Secret Service agents quickly covered him, shielding him from further danger. A minute later, Trump emerged, but his iconic red "Make America Great Again" hat had been knocked off. He could be heard saying, "Wait, wait," before pumping his fist in the air defiantly. Agents then rushed him to a black SUV, whisking him away from the chaos. Bob Ayers, a former CIA officer and international security analyst, commented from Taunton in the UK, criticizing the US Secret Service unit responsible for securing the area. He stated that they didn't do a very good job. There shouldn't have been any chance for an armed person to climb a building and shoot at the former president. Crooks was found to have explosives in his vehicle, adding another possibility of danger to the situation. US Representative Mark E. Green, chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, sent a letter to Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. He raised questions about the Trump rally shooting and demanded information about the former president's Secret Service protection. Green emphasized the seriousness of the security failure and called it a chilling moment in the nation's history. He questioned how the shooter was able to access a rooftop, within range and direct line of sight of where Trump was speaking. This incident brought back memories of that other dark day in American history. As Reagan exited a hotel through President's Walk on Florida Avenue, reporters were waiting for him. Reagan left through the T Street NW exit toward his waiting limousine, while Hinckley waited within the crowd of admirers. Despite extensive screening by the Secret Service, they made a grave error by allowing an unscreened group to stand within 15 feet of the president, behind a rope line. The agency typically uses multiple layers of protection: local police in the outer layer, Secret Service agents in the middle layer checking for weapons, and more agents forming the inner layer immediately around the president. Astonishingly, Hinckley had penetrated the first 2 layers. As several hundred people applauded Reagan, the president unexpectedly passed right in front of Hinckley. Reporters standing behind a rope barricade 20 feet away asked questions. As a member of the Associated Press shouted, "Mr. President," Hinckley crouched and rapidly fired a Rome RG-14 22 LR blue steel revolver 6 times in 1.7 seconds, missing the president with all 6 shots. When the Secret Service first announced shots fired over its radio network, Reagan, codename Rawhide, was immediately removed from the scene by agents in the limousine, codenamed Stagecoach. Initially, no one knew Reagan had been shot. After an agent searched Reagan's body and found no blood, he declared that "Rawhide is okay, we're going to Crown," which was the White House, preferring its medical facilities to those of an unsecured hospital. This shocking incident left the nation reeling. Now Crooks, just 20 years old, had taken a shot at a former president. The Secret Service agent's swift response saved Trump from a more tragic outcome, but the security lapse raised critical questions. The explosive-laden vehicle Crooks left behind highlighted the potential for even greater destruction. Amid the chaos, Trump's defiant fist pump and quick removal from the scene showed his resilience. However, the threat was real, and the vulnerability exposed at the rally has sent shockwaves through the political landscape. The public is grappling with the reality that even a former president, surrounded by the best security in the world, was not immune to such threats. The comparison to the Reagan assassination attempt was inevitable. Hinckley's ability to get so close to Reagan, despite layers of security, was so similar to Crooks' shockingly successful breach. a larger conspiracy. With elections coming up on November 5th, things are heating up. This time is always wild, emotions run high, and people get really passionate. This often leads to conflicts and even violence. When elections are near, political divides become stark. Supporters of different candidates clash, and sometimes extreme groups will go to violent lengths to eliminate their opponents or disrupt the process. Looking back at history, political assassinations have added to this tension. John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr. were all killed during times of major political and social change. These events are fresh in people's minds and remind everyone of how dangerous these times can be. Already, there are lots of theories about the attempt on Trump's life. Some sources say it might be more than just a random guy with a rifle on a rooftop. Considering what happened to JFK, this isn't far-fetched at all. The Kennedy assassination is often called the mother of all conspiracies. For decades, most Americans have believed there was a conspiracy behind it. Thousands of books have been written about it, mostly supporting conspiracy theories. In these theories, the role of the shooter, Lee Harvey Oswald, varies widely, from co-conspirator to completely innocent. Suspected culprits include the FBI, the CIA, the US military, the mafia, the military-industrial complex, then Vice President Johnson, Castro, the KGB, or some mix of these. Conspiracy theorists often argue that there were multiple shooters, claiming that there was a triangulation of crossfire and that the fatal shot came from a grassy knoll, hitting Kennedy in the front of the head. Many people present in Dealey Plaza, where it all went down, have been the subject of speculation, including people called the Three Tramps, the Umbrella Man, and the Badge Man. Some believe the autopsy and official investigations were either flawed or complicit, and that witnesses to the assassination met mysterious and suspicious deaths. Notable figures have supported these theories. L. Fletcher Prouty, Chief of Special Operations for the Joint Chiefs of Staff under Kennedy, believed that elements of the US military and intelligence communities conspired to kill the president. Governor Connolly rejected the single bullet theory, and President Johnson expressed doubt about the Warren Commission's conclusions before he died. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said his father thought the Warren report was a shoddy piece of craftsmanship and that JFK had been killed by a conspiracy.
If you think it might rain later, then all you...
Another ad just popped up.
Possibly involving Cuban exiles and the CIA. Castro and Soviet leader Khrushchev believed right-wing Americans were behind it. Former CIA Director R. James Woolsey argued that Oswald killed Kennedy as part of a Soviet conspiracy. Even former President Obama had several assassination attempts against him. One would-be assassin was coincidentally also a 20-year-old, a Marine named Cody Brittingham. He wrote that he had taken an oath to protect against all enemies, both foreign and domestic, and saw Obama as a domestic enemy. In December 2008, he planned to assassinate Obama. A search of his barracks uncovered a journal with white supremacist material. In June 2010, he was sentenced to 100 months in federal prison. In April 2009, there was a plot to kill Obama at the Alliance of Civilizations Summit in Istanbul, Turkey. A man of Syrian origins carrying fake Al Jazeera TV press credentials was caught. He confessed to Turkish security that he planned to kill Obama with a knife and claimed to have 3 accomplices. Later on, in November 2011, 21-year-old Oscar Ramiro Ortega Hernandez, influenced by conspiracy theories and fringe religious viewpoints, tried to kill Obama. He traveled from Idaho and fired several rounds at the White House with a semi-automatic rifle. No one was injured, but a window was broken. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Between 2011 and 2012, the far-right terrorist group FEAR plotted a series of terror attacks, including assassinating Obama. The plot was foiled when 4 group members were arrested on murder charges. One member, Michael Burnett, cooperated with authorities for a lighter sentence. The very next year, in October 2012, a mentally ill man named Mitchell Cusick was arrested after telling his therapist he planned to kill Obama with a shotgun at a campaign stop in Boulder, Colorado. Later on, in April 2013, a letter laced with ricin, a toxin, was sent to Obama. And in June 2013, 2 white supremacists, Glendon Scott Crawford and Eric Feit, were arrested for plotting to kill Muslim Americans and other perceived enemies of Israel with a homemade radiation gun. Crawford had also suggested using the device against Obama. In October 2018, a package with a pipe bomb was sent to Obama's home in Washington, D.C. The package was intercepted by the Secret Service. With all this, it's clear that election times are anything but ordinary. The air is thick with tension, and history shows how dangerous it can get. As November 5th approaches, everyone's on edge, knowing that anything could happen. If you enjoyed watching this video,
This is again one of these clickbaits titled, FBI's terrifying discovery on Trump's shooter changes everything. There wasn't a single mention of anything that the FBI discovered. that changed anything. I didn't know they tried to whack Obama so many times. I'll attach the link. Look at it. Let me know what you think. And thanks for listening.